On December 4th, 2025, Bill Gates is reportedly furious. The northern German state of Schleswig-Holstein just announced it will save 15 million euros every single year by dumping Microsoft Windows and Microsoft Office for Linux. 30,000 government PCs, civil servants, judges, police officers, all of them officially off Windows. This is not a trial. This is not a pilot. This is 80% already migrated, and the remaining 20% has a deadline. For 20 years, every state administration in Germany ran on Windows by default. That era ended, and Microsoft did not see it coming. This is not a coincidence. This is a coordinated exit, and it exposes three things Microsoft spent 2 decades burying: the 500 euros per employee license extraction scheme, the number Microsoft's own lawyer refused to defend under oath, and what Redmond is about to do to your Windows 10 PC in October. Let me tell you something Microsoft does not want in this video. The sentence that ended this entire debate was 3 words long, and we'll get to it. Let's start with the number they spent 15 years pretending didn't exist. For 2 decades, German state administrations ran on Windows and Office by default. Microsoft held roughly 70% of the German operating system and Office software market. Default meant invisible. Invisible meant nobody audited the bill. In April 2024, Schleswig-Holstein's Minister-President Daniel Goenther stopped treating the bill as invisible. His cabinet voted to migrate the entire state administration, 30,000 seats, to Linux and LibreOffice. And on December 4, 2025, Digital Minister Dirk Schroeder told the public exactly what Microsoft had been extracting. 15 million euros per year, every single year, for software. Read that again. 15 million euros annually from a single German state of 2.9 million people, going to Redmond, Washington. Divide 15 million euros by 30,000 employees, and you get the number Microsoft did not want on a press release. Roughly 500 euros per government worker per year. That was the per-seat cost of the default. And here's what makes the reveal devastating. The one-time cost to migrate off Microsoft, hardware, training, support contracts, development of open-source replacements was 9 million euros. Payback, under 12 months. 12 months. Munich's Limux project, running from 2004 to 2017, saved the city an estimated 11.7 million euros before a new mayor reversed it under political pressure. The bill for going back to Microsoft Windows, initially quoted at 49.3 million euros, ballooned to roughly 100 million euros. The precedent had been on the record for a decade. Schleswig-Holstein simply ran the math and ignored the political pressure. Then the dominoes fell. Austria's Bundesheer, the armed forces, finished moving 16,000 military computers to LibreOffice. Denmark's Ministry of Digital Affairs committed to the same switch in 2025. Italy's Ministry of Defense calculated projected savings of 29 million euros by doing what Schleswig-Holstein did. France's Gendarmerie Nationale has already run 97% of its 103,000 plus computers on an Ubuntu-based distribution for over a decade without incident. But 15 million euros in license extraction was not even the decisive number. There is one sentence, spoken by a Microsoft executive, under oath in front of a European Senate in June 2025, that made this migration physically impossible to reverse. Not politically, legally. And even Microsoft's own lawyers stopped defending the cloud contracts after he finished speaking. We'll get to exactly what he said in a moment, but first, you have to understand what Germany was actually paying for. On March 8, 2024, 11 days before Schleswig-Holstein's cabinet vote, the European Data Protection Supervisor, the European Union's top privacy regulator, issued a decision that should have collapsed Microsoft's European business overnight. The ruling found that the European Commission's own use of Microsoft 365 violated European Union data protection law. Purpose limitation violations. Unlawful international transfers of personal data. The Commission was given a hard deadline of December 9th, 2024 to fix it. Here's the part where most channels would stop. We are not stopping. Schleswig-Holstein's analysts read the decision and realized something worse. The problem was not a bad contract that Microsoft could rewrite. The problem was a law, an American law, the 2018 Cloud Act. That statute compels any United States-based cloud provider, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, to hand customer data to United States authorities on warrant, regardless of where that data is physically stored: Frankfurt, Paris, Dublin. The data center location was legally irrelevant. Microsoft spent a year insisting this was theoretical. That changed on June 10th, 2025. On that date, the French Senate called Anton Carniot, Microsoft France's Director of Public and Legal Affairs, to testify under oath. The senators asked him exactly one question that mattered. Could he guarantee that the personal data of French citizens stored in Microsoft's cloud would never be transmitted to the US government without the explicit consent of the French state? His answer was 3 words: "No, I cannot." That sentence is on the permanent record of the French Senate. Microsoft's senior legal officer, speaking under oath to a European legislature, had just confirmed that the Cloud Act overrides every data sovereignty promise the company had ever made. Every marketing claim, every European data boundary program, every sovereign cloud brochure, all of it suddenly unenforceable. Schleswig-Holstein's Minister Schroeder had spent 2 years comparing Europe's dependence on Microsoft to its dependence on Russian gas. Carniot's 3-word answer proved him right in front of a sitting Senate, and at that point, 30,000 German government workers were already more than halfway off Windows. But that admission wasn't Microsoft's real problem. While Germany was quietly migrating to safety, Microsoft was already doing something far worse to hundreds of millions of other machines. Yours, probably, is one of them. And the date you need to remember is in October. You don't work for the German government. So why does any of this matter? Here is why. On October 14th, 2025, Microsoft officially ended free support for Windows 10. Hundreds of millions of working, functioning, paid-for PCs, machines that boot, that browse, that run every application their owners need, were labeled obsolete overnight. Not because the hardware failed, but because Microsoft decided it should. The upgrade path is Windows 11. Windows 11. But Windows 11 requires TPM 2.0 chips, specific approved processors, a mandatory Microsoft account to even complete setup, and OneDrive sync that uploads your files to servers. The same kind of servers Microsoft's own lawyer just admitted cannot be legally protected from the US government. Remember the AI feature that screenshots your screen continuously to build a searchable timeline of everything you do on your computer? It rolls out on Copilot plus hardware with always-on telemetry. This is the same category of foreign data dependency that the Schleswig-Holstein government specifically voted to eliminate. The 500 euros per employee that Germany stopped paying, you are paying a version of that too. Enforced hardware upgrades, in license fees baked into every pre-built laptop you buy, and in a cloud subscription that sends your documents to servers your government has no legal authority over. Microsoft's answer to Schleswig-Holstein was not to improve the product. It was to lobby for regulatory rehabilitation. They negotiated contractual patches with the European Commission, and they waited for the news cycle to move on. Microsoft built a system that profits from your default. But the moment governments stopped defaulting, the entire business model stopped working. Now you have the same option Schleswig-Holstein had. So what does this mean for you? It means you have the same escape hatch Schleswig-Holstein did, and it costs you nothing to test. Download Ubuntu, Linux Mint, or Zorin OS. Put it on a USB stick. Boot from it. See your machine run faster than it did the day you bought it. If you want to commit, buy hardware from brands that officially certify Linux, Lenovo ThinkPad, Framework, System 76. Avoid Copilot Plus PCs with recall. Refuse forced Microsoft account setup. Turn off OneDrive as the default. Here's the part the news cycle buried. On July 11th, 2025, 3 weeks after Microsoft's sworn admission, the EDPS quietly closed the Commission's Microsoft 365 case, a regulatory rescue. By then, Schleswig-Holstein had already crossed 80%. Denmark had committed. Austria was finished. Italy was calculating 29 million euros. The rescue arrived too late. That is what Bill Gates could not undo. Microsoft fixed the paperwork. They could not take back the 3 words spoken under oath. Digital sovereignty is no longer a slogan. It is a spreadsheet.